Renegades of Long Beach Roller Derby, and you're watching MoonKILL Radio. Woo!
Welcome to another edition of What's on the Slab with MoonKILL Radio. How you guys doing out there? Hope you guys are staying safe. Trying to get back to some kind of normal, whatever it is, normal is for you. So this one, a good one. So getting to a lot of the stuff that we have, that I've done over the all these reviews. I know you're gonna say it, or I know some of you say it already, but this guy and his live albums. Yep, that's right. Me and my live albums, and this is one of the top albums of all time on my list. And it is a live album. Can't say no, but it is the double LP live UFO Strangers in the Night. Man, I don't know what to say. I mean, it's hard to. This is probably one of my top albums of all time. Any genre, anything. Right here, I've probably listened to this more than most albums. Of course, being a Rush fan, All World's a Stage, I probably listen to more than this, but there ain't many beyond this. I've listened more than this. There's not many of them. This is, without a doubt, one of the best live hard rock albums of any decade, but especially the 70s. But of any decade. Okay, and there's great live albums of every decade, of course, but the 70s just has a lot of the classics. And this one, without a doubt, is one of the top. For you hardcore rock fans, hard rock fans, borderline heavy metal fans. And I do need better copy of this, but this is mine for now, and I've had this since I was about 10 years old. Again, UFO, Strangers in the Night, double album, 1979. Michael Schenker's last hurrah with the band. And this was, I think, the best band that they had. Right? This is by far the best band that they had ever. Jeez. I mean, just look at that cover, man. You don't know how many of you out there stared at this cover while playing this record, or stared at you open it up and you play the record and oh my god, this is ridiculous. Andy Parker on drums, Michael the Blonde Bomber Schenker on guitar, Paul Raymond, okay, and R.I.P. I don't know, maybe a little ways back, but R.I.P. to Paul Chapman, who used to be in UFO earlier than this. Then he came back later, I believe, after this. But at this time, they did have Paul Raymond on keyboards, guitar, and vocals. Okay. Then, of course, Pete Way on the bass of Phil Mogg. Vocals. Oh, man. Again, UFO being, to me, one of the most underrated hard rock groups of that time. Michael Schenker, clearly one of my most favorite guitar players to listen to. Again, personal opinion, mine. And they made just straight ahead, straight ahead rock, hard rock, borderline heavy metal, classic cuts. And if you don't know UFO, besides buying a best of, this is the best of, hands down. And they got they got other songs that are great, that are not on here, of course. But if you're gonna start with UFO, unless you just don't like live albums, I know there's a lot of people out there that don't like live albums. But if you don't mind live albums, if you like them or it doesn't matter, this is where you start, because this is the best of UFO, and that's pretty much what a lot of people do say, and will tell you this is the best of. It has all their hits. It has every. Even the ways that you want to hear them, this is the classic way. Again, unless you're a studio fan, not a live fan, this is the way you would have heard them. You want to hear them, okay? But the one thing though that does differ is, for one, they said that this was recorded over a couple days in Chicago, I believe. Recorded live. Yeah. Recorded live at the Amphitheater in Chicago. Okay. So according to the band and the people who worked on it, there was no overdubs like a lot of people do with live albums. There wasn't none of that. According to them. But it was cut. So the original album that came out, according to them now, wasn't the original lineup of the songs, but it was only a few differences. So let's get to the track list real quick. Side 1, you start off with Natural Thing, and then Out in the Streets, and those kind of like they bleed into each other. Then Only You Can Rock Me, Dr. Doctor, Mother Mary. Dr. Doctor, that's on side 1. Side 2, Mother Mary, This Kids, and then Love to Love on side 2. Okay, side 3, you only get 2 tracks because they're both the epics, right? Lights Out, Rock Bottom. Side 4, Too Hot to Handle, I'm a Loser, Let It Roll, Shoot. Okay. That's what you got from the album when you bought it. Now, when they reproduced it, when they made it on CD later, when everybody started putting in all these little things, this and that, according to them, they added 2 songs that were the beginning of the set, and according to them, the CD version is what was recorded, which is basically the same as this, except some of the tracks are different, or they're switched around. And then you have Cherry and the opening track. I can't remember what it was. But yeah, the lineup, the song titles are lined up a little different. But it still sounds, it's the same. You can tell it's the same recording. The songs that were on here or on the CD, just a little different. But they said there's no overdubs or anything like that. So I guess take them for their word. But again, one of the best live albums. Phil Mogg, underrated vocalist. And of course, I'm total bias because this is like one of my favorite groups. But he wasn't a screamer. He wasn't an Ian Gillan. He wasn't a Robert Plant. He definitely wasn't a Rob Halford, that's for sure. Or a Geddy Lee that could scream his ass off. He just had that. He had more of a deeper voice, man. But still a great singer, I thought. And did what they did when they got Paul Raymond. I think that's what made this so great. It fit because some of the guys they had either played guitar or they played keys. They didn't do both. Paul Raymond was not a bad guitar player. So, but you're still behind Michael Schenker. So, and he still is the Blonde Bomber. But when you could play the keys where they need it, and then you just you can play the background there, you can play the rhythm guitar when needed. That's what made this. That's what helped make this that full sound. And yes, George, two guitars made this a full sound. I agree with this one. Different style of music. Okay, inside joke there, buddy. But yeah. Again, for those that don't know anything about UFO, UFO was a band that came out in the late 60s. They put out a few albums in the 60s, the later 60s. I guess took their name not as like UFO, like aliens, but there was a club they used to play a lot called UFO, so they took that. Originally, they're a English band, but Michael Schenker is German. Michael Schenker was with the Scorpions at the age of 14, I believe, and they went to Germany to play with them. Somehow the mix up with the guitar player, just think his passport or something. So they asked, hey, can we borrow Michael? He's pretty good. Can we borrow him? They borrowed him. They played. They loved it. They told the other guy to take a hike. Then they made the first album with Schenker called Phenomenon, which did have Doctor and Rock Bottom on there, plus a couple other tracks, but they were just like a psychedelic rock band at the time. I think with Schenker, he brought in that hard edge, hard rock style that I think they were probably looking for, man. It did change the band. So they do have, there's a live album out, I think 2 or 3 albums, studio albums, before Michael Schenker. But there is one live album. But like I said, just psychedelic boogie bands, Then, of course, enter Michael Schenker, and then that was it, man. You get up to this point, he was ready to leave, or after they did this tour, he left. But they did record this, so this was Michael Schenker's last hurrah after the Lights Out album, or no, Obsession. After the Obsession album, they toured for it. That's what this is. Then he went off and rejoined Scorpions and did his own Michael Schenker group and blah, blah, blah. Did his own thing. Still doing his own thing. But this is still one of his best works. Still. One of the most underrated rock groups of the 70s, in my opinion. One of the best guitar players ever. And again, this is their best. This is their best of. So if anyone doesn't know UFO, like I said, if you don't mind live albums, this is where you start. This is all you need, pretty much. There are some other hits, there's some great songs they have, like Electric Phase and Two Something Young or whatever it is, and they also do. If you get the Lights Out album, they do a version of Alone Again or. That was originally released by that Frisco group that the Damned covered. But yeah, they do their own version of that, which is awesome because instead of horns, he plays the guitar parts. He plays that part on the guitar. Awesome. But yeah, man, again, one of the best live albums of all time. Any genre. Right here. Hard rock. If you'd like some hard rock, borderline metal, but mainly just hard rocking, straight ahead riffing, but great guitar playing, man. Just slick, man. Guy is just ridiculous. This is at his best, pretty much. The band was at their peak. And I'm so glad they recorded this, because he left and it wasn't the same. But of course, this was everyone at their peak, man. So, yeah. UFO. Lights Out. Check it out. If you love live albums, this is it, man. This is what you got. One of the best hard rock live albums. Live albums, period. But especially of the hard rock, heavy metal genre, this is one of the best ever. Right, so that's going to do for this episode of What's on the Slab for MoonKILL Radio. Leave your comments, anything you got. check out our info, everything we got, and check out the rest of our videos and stuffs. All right? Till next time, take care of yourselves.